Right, Aussie dollars. This is the monthly, going back to since this little sucker was floated. The reason going that far back is just so you can see at the moment we're in a bit of no man's land. Really, for the Aussie, as you can tell I'm Australian, like between 80 and down here like 60, 61, 62, like low 60s. That's where most of the action happens. You know, sure it goes up to like $1. Sure, it goes down to 47, but most of it's in this 80 to 60 range, and it's 73-ish at the moment, 74. We're kind of in the middle of no man's land, really. So that's the big picture. If we kind of go in and see what's been happening lately, one of the things that's been it's a good trade, worked for me anyway, was this head and shoulders. Now, I'm not a believer in head and shoulders, to be honest. 9 times out of 10, they never work out. They're great in theory. They look great when you draw them up like this, right? But, they just don't come off. This one was one of those rare ones that did. And as you know, this is for education only. But this is what a textbook one looks like. Where you've really got a good solid shoulder line here. If I get my technology going there, that's right. Really good neckline there. Left shoulder, head, other shoulder, and then a breakdown like straight from the neckline. And you can see really how it just came back and back tested the neckline there. The other indicator is the RSI. This on a daily, on a weekly it shows up as well. But you can see the momentum, the strength. In the textbook it says should weaken as you go from left to right, which is what's happened here. You see it really clearly. So it's clear as a bell, right? So although I don't believe in these suckers, this one actually worked out. Funny, life is a bit crazy at the moment. The other thing about these ones is the textbook says from the neckline to the top, that's where it should break down. And funnily enough, this one, it's kind of like, it's remarkably close. I guess if you can make it fit if you want. Say then put the neckline a little bit lower, like that lower there. And where it came down to was, oh my God, where it came down to really was this level. If I just try and keep that around about right, it came down and reversed pretty quickly off that that level there, which you can see. You can see I've been able to rationalise it like all with technical analysts. I guess the big question is where do I see it going now? How my position? I'm short. I wrote it from after this breakdown down to here. The reason why I bought it back there was on the daily, as you can just see, it was heavily oversold. It had really gone away from the, if you're moving average, that's the 100, that's the 50 and the 20. It had crossed, death cross as some people call it, back tested, good sell, neck and shoulders, felt good. I sold it about like 74, like when it broke down here, 74.50, something like that. So I got on late, but I guess given my skepticism of these head and shoulders thing, it kind of suited my risk appetite, and wrote it down here and just thought, mate, that is just overextended. It's going to come back. Sure enough, it came back. I did sell it. I had another go at shorting it in here, just to kind of play this trend line, but that didn't work. It busted through, so I stopped out. Then got back at again here, and the reason why I got back on here, if we kind of zoom in a little bit more closely, is that it did something. Well, two things. One was this trend line. It really just hit that, corresponded with the moving average, corresponded with the trend line, but it also did this nice little, it's like tweezers, some people call them, double top. You could go with that description if you want it, but you can see it here. They're just going boom, boom, shot up, long candles off that trend line, bit of a lower low, and then so I shorted it again around about here. It was like 74.50, same level. I've written it down. Now it's having a bit of a pause. As I said, it's no man's land, which is to be expected because you can see where it is here, right? Like that one. The old resistance, or support, goes through it, resistance, comes back, goes through, and it's come back to back test a little bit. and also down here, this is where that support's been. So I think it's going to, it's a bit of an unknown where it's going to go. I've got like some stops up here. I'll stop up if it breaks this trend line. But I'm going to ride it, and hopefully it'll make a nice little double bottom down there. And you never know your luck in a big city, so you may as well wave the wand. Now for the Fibos, you know, it's been, I like trading the Aussie because the margin on futures is pretty good. You know, bang for your buck. They're not too big, not punchy contracts. So, you know, it's like $1,000 for a big figure. So 74 to 75 is $1,000. So they're not that big. The margin's pretty low. You earn the money in real dollars, in US dollars. So as it goes down, your trade becomes more profitable, even more profitable if you're short, just because of the FX rate when you bring the profits back to Aussie. But you can see here it's kind of retraced, you know, back here. Kind of makes sense. So there's a few reasons why it makes sense to have a bit of a pause around here. And similarly, if you look where it's that's the kind of level where it really broke back from. It there's a real ding dong back on the 61.80. So that's 61.80, double top there, trend line. You know, for me, that was enough good reasons to have another lash. It's kind of worked out so far. I'm pretty wary of it breaking out above 74 again. You can see it's tried to do that on Friday. Came back down. As I said, I'm hoping it'll go a little bit lower. I suspect it probably will, just because of this, and it'll have another go down here. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the Aussie for the day. As I said, if it gets above 75, like this one, like this 74.85, then it'll be a break of that, break of the Fibo, bit of noise around here. That's definitely a different story. For the moment, trend is still